Alright, so this video will be looking at earning your stripes, a soldier's first step up the ranks. I'm guessing this is to do with the British military, so I'm always intrigued on how different branches and countries rank up their soldiers. Let's take a look at it, shall we?
Already had a good scoff this morning.
Yes, sir!
Junior non-commissioned officer cadre is a really significant step up. This is not a soldiering course, this is a command and leadership course.
Oh, wow.
We train them to be able to be leaders and commanders, and then we assess them at the end to check that they've met the standard that the Army sets.
Too slow.
The purpose of junior NCO cadre is to get people onto that first rung of the ladder for leadership. It clearly teaches people how to be a junior NCO, but also tests their ability in physical robustness and, more importantly, mental robustness, and how they can motivate themselves as well as motivate a team as they become junior leaders.
The 1st Battalion, the Rifles Regiment, are based here at Alexander Barracks for 2 years as part of British Forces Cyprus, giving the soldiers on this junior non-commissioned officer cadre a unique experience that we have exclusive access to for the 7 weeks.
So I'm wondering, like, what rank they're going to for the leadership class, because for the most part in the U.S. military, once you get past E3 to E4, E4 for the Navy and the Coast Guard, that's your petty officers. So I actually got out as a 3rd class petty officer, so an E4. And they got the thing where you've got responsibility, right? You've got more responsibility than someone that's still got the SN or whatever, like the seaman or whatever, or FN for fireman in front of your name. And I'm guessing in the Army, I'm not sure how the Army works, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's where they take, and I'm not sure if that's for like Air Force and stuff like that, where you got specialists and stuff. I'm not sure how that works with them, but I know for the Navy and for the Coast Guard, E4, you've got responsibility as the E4 across all the branches. Like you know what your MOS is. You're still, you're not at the very lowest of it, because E3 you can still make rank. You can still take and do your A school or whatever, or take and get your MOS training. Being E3 in it for a little bit, but the thing about it is, like E4, you do have some responsibility, but it's not like E5 or E6 where you take and get up, you're getting higher up, almost making chief and stuff like that. You've got responsibility, but it's not like higher. So I know in the Coast Guard, I didn't take and there was no kind of leadership training other than the typical fire watch training and the flood training and stuff like that, like being on a ship and stuff. So I don't know.
The term cadre is used to describe a small group of people specially trained for a particular purpose or profession.
It's going to be tough. Also, the pre-fatigue on the beach gets them into that mindset of just knuckle down and drive through. It'll be tough, but this is where we'll see the true leaders amongst the group and see those who are just nice and loud for the sake of it.
Do you remember your junior NCO cadre?
Unfortunately, I do.
I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get down here ready for first period at 5.
Right.
And then we started getting absolutely melted on fizz. Went straight onto the beach.
Okay, so I've had to pull it up because it kind of drives me crazy, because I wasn't in the Army. So for the U.S. Army, it's privateer, or, well, no insignia private, and you got your stripe. So private first class, specialist. I'm guessing this would be E4 right here, since you're earning your stripe as private. So, and then corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, first class, master sergeant, first sergeant, sergeant major, command sergeant. Good God. So that'd be E4, E5, E6, E7, E8, E9. So private, lance corporal, corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant. And you go warrant officer? Okay. That's kind of different. It's only like 4 ranks, so lance corporal, corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant. Okay, yeah, it means that's still, alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's only 5 ranks. And a warrant officer, I mean, it's an enlisted officer, but if you wind up being in for a while, can actually get your degree a lot of times Sometimes you'll see warrant officers taken, but that's very rare. It's also you can get promoted past. It's very normally you hit warrant officer, and but not only have you done something pretty tremendous as far as like time in service and meeting all the qualifications, but they're either the most ornery folks that you'll meet other than senior chiefs, or they're the most laid back people, but they will lay into everybody that's a little bit too assy for their liking. So, all right, cool. I just had to take and do it real quick. I mean, why not, right?
Got a nice little beasting on the beach where it was going into the water, and then it was a relief when I seen logs, but then that was just even more of a beasting going through the Bondi.
The soldiers' leadership qualities are assessed early on, getting them to problem solve in a non-military setting, showing they can communicate effectively and get the best from their team.
We've set up here 9 different stations, each of which is a different command task. Each person that goes through each station will be appointed commander for that activity, and they essentially get delivered a brief. They then have to formulate a plan, brief that plan to their section, and then attempt to complete the task. They'll then afterwards have a bit of a debrief and get some feedback from the section commanders from their platoons.
If it does clear the fence, we can push it a lot further because we've got that much space. So if you lot just hold on to it like that, and then I'll just climb onto it, yeah. Let's try it.
When they're briefed, I think quite a few of them have thought, this is a kid's game. I think I quote one of the riflemen from earlier. And then actually getting down to it, it was a lot more complicated than he first anticipated.
See, that's actually good. You get those problem-solving skills, and you're able to assess the problem-solving skills of the person that's going to have, soldiers up underneath them. I wonder what kind of task it looks like there. They've got to get over the fence, but they've only got that right there that they can use. So, but I wonder what other kind of stuff that they use, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. If you take the suggestions of the people that's around you, also can show that that. Not only are you able to lead, but you're also able to take input from your subordinates.
You're going to send it for 2 miles. Everyone happy with that?
Yes, sir.
The times yesterday were quite pathetic. Today, I want to see a bit better from all of you. Everyone happy?
Yes, sir.
You're going to be started by the bugle. Have a bit of regimental pride. Dig deep. Everyone happy?
Yes, sir.
Happy.
Is everyone happy? They don't look happy, regardless of what they're saying. Of course, 2 miles. And he said they're going to send it. I'm guessing that's going to be a full-out run, so... Whew.
Let's go!
There was a little inkling that there was going to be more than just a 2-miler, but obviously you've got to wait and see what happens.
So we're going to do the opposite route of what we just did. It's going to be a half loop of area 2 and then back through the way that we just went.
We're carrying 16 kilos of kit, not including our rifle, which weighs another 5 kilo, 4.5.
And you've done that twice, have you? You did it by yourself?
Yeah, we've done it twice.
Bro, that is... So, 2 miles one way, two another way. Like, that's, bro, they're putting them through the ringer. I mean, but it also lets you see who falters, with tasks and stuff like that, or who's going to be what they have to take and work on. Maybe you have to take and, they don't take and get the promotion or whatever. Because you definitely don't want to have ineffectual leaders above, the soldiers are going to be over.
And that's very important for you as leaders of the future, is talent spotting and seeing things in people that they don't see for themselves.
Marvin Manny Manfred, a Falklands veteran,
Jesus
started
Christ,
his
40
career
years?
as a private soldier. Having risen through the NCO ranks, he knows what it takes to lead soldiers.
So not only did he go from enlisted, he went to the warrant officer, plus he went in, Jesus Christ, dude.
Many of the steps that they've taken, I've trodden before them. So hopefully they can learn from some of the mistakes that I've made. You can recreate excitement, but not actual fear. And there must be a mechanism to replace that fear or to overcome that fear by training. And that's what they're receiving today.
I asked them a question. The question was,
did he have any good junior NCOs underneath him, and if so, what made them a good junior NCO? And he just gave us points basically on how to manage and how to manage the team.
The soldiers are about to deploy into the field for 3 weeks as part of the exercise phase of the course.
Right, lads, you've literally got 30 seconds or we're doing a lap as a platoon. Stand behind your kit. No one should need help. Everyone show me the jungle hat, or soft hat. What do you think we're going to do with this before we deploy? Yeah, tie it on. Why? Yeah, nice and simple, so we don't lose it, lads. It will get caught on a bush. That way it's going to be good to go still on you. Everyone happy with that?
I love the fact he's talking to him like he's got an attitude, almost with an attitude of like, why do I have to keep going over this shit with y'all? Y'all should know it by now. Which is kind of, it's one of those things that it lets you, number one, it motivates you to make sure you've got what you need, because just that sense of frustration, that just a little bit of aggravation that's in his voice there, kind of gives you that little bit of gumption, like, oh crap, you know, let's make sure we got everything squared away, you know, got our I's dotted and our T's crossed and stuff like that. So, and then ask them questions of why they've got like that, I guess the jungle hat there, or the jungle, the jungle hat there, kind of reinforcing, but still kind of having that, all right, you know, it's folks like that that's you learn that a lot of times that he's a trainer, but you also figure out you take and do a good job, the reward down the line is often also pretty satisfactory from a sense of self-accomplishment.
Happy days. Everyone lift up the helmets.
If they don't have the right kit, there could be serious consequences in the field. Attention to detail is key.
Scrim?
I've got one that I can attach.
Why is it not on?
Well, because I didn't know whether you wanted scrims or with...
What does it say on here? What does it say?
I just saw a helmet.
Yeah, you know what's coming. Write his name down.
You know what's coming, uh-oh.
We started the kit check. They were 5 minutes late, so we give them the benefit of the doubt. And then about 15 minutes into the kit check, one person, I'm going to mention his name, turned up late. So we're going to re-show them tomorrow morning, nice and early at 04. So they had the opportunity to do it today, this morning, have a bit of downtime. However, they've managed to mess it up, so we'll get them up earlier tomorrow and they can do it in the dark. It's basic stuff, especially on a course like this. They're going to be potentially 2 ICs, so their job is to admin their section, and he's proven he can't admin himself by meeting a simple timing. So we'll take their time away from him, and we'll see him here at 04 tomorrow morning.
I'm surprised at 5 minutes late. They all weren't doing push-ups and stuff like that. But they show up 5 minutes late. Somebody else shows up even later than that, then doesn't have the required stuff. Bro, that's demoralizing, because it's... I get it's training and stuff like that, and this is, you know, probably, you know, a training for, you know, different than what you're used to, probably, because it's probably a step above what you know, have gone through at this point, just from the fact of now, instead of having someone taking and questioning you, you're going to be the one that's going to be questioning and making sure your soldiers that are underneath you are squared away. And so... Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Talk about an early wake up. Oh.
It started good, it looked okay, but unfortunately, because that person was about 15 minutes late, we're not going to keep repeating ourselves, so they can all suffer together at 04 now.
The students hope they've done enough to impress the directing staff with their basic soldiering skills and ability to work in a team. The hard work is yet to come. They must prove they can lead fellow soldiers out in the field. For the next 3 weeks, they'll be doing the job of a lance corporal.
We don't want people who just know the drills and that what they should do is X, Y, Z and just follow it through. We need people who can think about it, think about what they're going to do, because ultimately, at some point in the future, they might be asked to do this for real.
Right, section commander, closing.
As second in command, they have to display strong leadership and stepping up as section commander when needed.
What we're going to go through now is the considerations you need to start thinking about for being a Section 2 IC and a section commander.
They'll have to make live decisions about whether they should go left flanking or right flanking, or any other host of options, and we need them to show that they can do that and think about it in a way that ultimately achieves the mission. And
Right, sounds 2 IC gunner, are you roughly happy?
Yeah, happy.
Yeah. Section commander Grenadier, are you happy? Yeah.
The pressure ramps up, and they discover the extra responsibilities a Lance Corporal has to bear.
So they've been out in the field now for 2 days. At this point, they've received a set of orders which have been written down, and at that point they have to extract and then deliver a set of orders themselves to a member of the directing staff, which is now what they're currently doing. We all know this is the first time you've done it. We're not expecting miracles, okay? What we're looking for is a logical plan extracted from the orders you've already been given. After this, they're going to go out on the ground and do the thing that they've been tasked to do. In this case, it's a recce on an enemy position. So from here, they'll get their team together, they'll look to step off, get to where they need to find the enemy, locate them, and come back. And at that point, they have 4 hours to write a report on what they've seen, called a patrol report. What we're looking for is, have they extracted the key bits of information from a wider set of orders, and what parts are relevant to them, and are they able to articulate that plan in a way that is simple. It's pretty intimidating the first time you do it, but it does get easier, and so we are currently breaking the ice and putting them in a world where you're no longer a follower, you're a leader.
I'm gonna be honest, I absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. Taking and doing like the training includes simulated scenarios and everything like this. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love this. Like that's killer. Because you can see probably where as a group they probably need to all improve, so they, once they get out the field and you got folks, but also the individual soldier you're probably able to take and see, okay, well, you see where you messed up, right? Why'd you take and, why it probably, because not only you're going to be able to take and are they probably, looks like they're observing, not only are they observing, but also being able to take and read their their report, or their the debrief report or whatever, or the briefing or whatever, the fucking report. Anyways, you get briefed as you go in, you debrief as you go out. Anyways, but they've got to take and write that down, and the fact that not only are they seeing it and able to take and see things firsthand, but also see from the report. So you got the visual plus taking and seeing from their own words, so you can really pinpoint places like, see, this is where this went wrong. That's freaking phenomenal. Absolutely love that.
Who do you think's given the best orders?
To be fair, I'm hoping I did, but by the looks, some people are still going, so they probably put more meat on the bone. But all in all, good. Pretty happy with how it went. Try not to misread anything. Try not to miss anything. And just taking a moment just to slow it down.
Orders delivered. The soldiers patrolling well into the morning.
We finally got eyes on the enemy and got the information we needed and required. We're moving back through our series of RVs into our stop short snap ambush, back into our harbour, and then write our patrol report on our findings.
It's the first time most of these soldiers have written a patrol report.
All brand new to us. I mean, between us, we've probably only done 2 or 3 before. And it is just a very long process, and there's a lot of detail that goes into it. And if you don't get the information on the ground, you then have to relate it back to your map.
And how does it feel to be handing them in to your section commanders?
Oh, it feels amazing, do you know what I mean? It's going to be something that they're going to use to plan an attack that we're essentially going to have to do.
And a good sense of humour always helps.
What makes it quite unique for us to do it here in Cyprus is firstly, the terrain is really demanding, and that makes some really good soldiering. Secondly, the heat is also really difficult and means that the people we're training to command and lead in the future, we're testing that they can do it under what is actually a live and demanding threat to those people. Thirdly, Cyprus offers us an amazing opportunity. There are loads of assets here in terms of other units, military working dogs, helicopters, and a whole host of other things which we just wouldn't have access to back in the UK.
I've never worked with dogs or EOD before. That was a new thing. It was good to, you find an explosive, you actually carry out the correct drills, you call in the area, you send up your EOD report, and then EOD physically come in with their robot and deal with the explosive there. It just felt a lot more real than it would have done otherwise.
The soldiers on the ground, they were out on a patrol this morning and they had identified this. Subsequently, what they'd done then is they'd called us out to this area, and then we've responded. We set up a cordon, an evac around this area, just so we can have a look at it in more detail and fully identify what it is that they've found, so we can neutralise that threat.
It's averaging 32 degrees during the day, so the students are doing most of their attacks at night. Challenging, but also more realistic for heading on operations.
So I'm guessing the 32 degrees is Celsius. I'm just gonna be dead ass. The fact that they're training E2s and E3s basically, these, like, that's doing leadership stuff early, because it's a lot of these saying Lance Corporal and stuff. So I mean, that's interesting, because I would figure it'd be at least a sergeant E4. So that's, but I mean, getting them prepared early, also, you know, the fact that they've got to take and write reports even while they're out, like, that's crazy.
Into this period of the final exercise, where we absolutely have already started to identify people who are in the running to be the top student and who we look to promote very quickly. And one of the things I'm out here tonight is watching some of them to see who might decide is the top student. And there are also students who are struggling, and so these serials are about giving them a bit more time and experience and appointment to see if they get it after a little bit longer, but also there are some who are under the microscope because they haven't yet met the standard.
Oh wow.
The soldiers on the cadre have been learning how key communication is when operating at night, but working in broad daylight doesn't necessarily make things any easier. In very hot conditions, on little sleep, the soldiers have been learning to work with surveillance drones, military working dogs, all whilst dealing with an aggravated civilian population.
Obviously, I had a little bit of an aggressive push towards the enemy threat being in the area. So what the other call sign's looking to do is to try and de-escalate it. However, with limited manpower on hand, things that they are struggling. So the packs are starting to move up towards our location. What I've done is I've just set out a section worth of men to be able to try and de-escalate the situation if it gets to that level. Hopefully we don't want it to, but we're prepared for it just in case. The drone is very helpful. Obviously, it gives me that 360-degree battle space and things all around. There has been noted threats on the other side of the high feature there, with 3 times potential enemy carrying weapon systems. So by having the ability of having the drone, it gives me that ability to keep eyes on the high feature, but also keep track of what's happening in the low ground whilst we're up high and I can't directly see down there.
Morning, troops. Morning, sir. Welcome to the sword lane.
At the end of getting to the fight, they need to be able to lead and command when they get there. So the final test of the exercise was a sword lane, which was very physically demanding.
It's one of those things, so you know it's coming, you just don't know when. And the DS are tight-lipped, and they don't tell you when. And you sort of second guess yourself. There's always that chit-chat between the section of 2 little course where you're like, it could be here, it could be them. And you sort of like, you're just in your head about it, sort of like a shock and capture. So when it came, it was just like, most of us had slept for 3 days, like, we were sort of just accepting it, what it is, just get it done. You know it's coming. So it's just trying to roll with the punches at that stage, sort of like,
A lot of PT on the beach, followed by the lane itself, conducting kind of the infantry's core mission of closing with and killing the enemy.
That's pretty badass.
Get up here now! Get up here! Move! Get up here!
The fact that they...
Take a knee now. Take a knee. Face it down there. You've been detached from your platoon, right? You're going to go through this pocket of enemy for hours. Right, when you can't hit enemy, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's go! Let's go!
They then transition straight into military knowledge tests to prove that they can retain the knowledge and continue to lead
That
even
has
at the point where they're
got
absolutely
to suck, but
exhausted.
gotta feel
And that's
so
what
rewarding
we're
once you're out of it.
using physical tests to really try and deliver here.
Right, you said you were good enough to be on this course, yeah? Right, start showing me you are. King, what are the principles of LOAC?
The military knowledge bit at the end was all right. I didn't expect that, to be fair.
How did you do?
I did all right. I did fine on that. That's not the make or break bit of bayonet, though, is it?
Take a knee, take your helmet off, take your weapon off. Remind me of your name.
Ruffman Dunham, sir.
Ruffman Dunham. Okay, congratulations, Ruffman Dunham. That is the end of Final X, I promise. Okay, no more surprises except one. Okay, in a second, Corporal Robert's going to lead you around this TCV. You're going to take your webbing with you, helmet with you, lay it down neatly.
Yes,
You're then going to get a bacon bap, a Snickers, a Powerade, many juices you want, many brews you want. You're going to sit looking out over the Mediterranean with your mates and chill out.
Happy with that, sir.
Happy with that? Cool.
That sounds like an amazing reward.
It was quite difficult, but quite enjoyable, to be fair. It was really challenging because we've been a bit sleep deprived for the last 36 hours. It's challenging. Can't actually wait to get some sleep. That'd be the best one. Get some sleep. It's done now, so time to put my feet up and relax.
That's what we expect from our junior NCOs. We expect them to go that extra mile, to find that last 10% inside them and push themselves all the way through to the end without quitting. And every single one of them this morning proved that they've got that fighting spirit, the aggression to get through to the end, and every single one of them performed phenomenally.
Relief across their faces as they complete the exercise phase of this course, learning what it takes to be a Lance Corporal in the field. It's back to barracks, the leaders amongst the pack starting to emerge. After 3 challenging weeks in the field, the directing staff are in this room deciding who hasn't quite met the standard and who's come out on top as we head into the final part of the course.
Firstly, there are limited spaces for promotion across 1 Rifles, but also 3 Rifles and all the other places that people have come from. It's pretty tough to fail some of those people. It's not a nice conversation to have, especially with some of them at the end of the final exercise when they had put their heart and soul into 3 weeks of really demanding soldiering, some of them close to tears at the end of the sword lane, and to tell them the next day they haven't quite met the standard.
That's absolutely brutal. 3 weeks of training and don't cut the snuff. Even if it's something minute, that's still just, that'd be awful. That'd be an awful feeling.
The 47 students who have made the cut will be responsible for teaching junior soldiers how to safely and accurately use their weapons on the ranges.
If you look at like his angle, his rifle's going that way, and he's going off like that at an angle, right. So he needs to bring his around to the right.
Just checking on the firers, making sure they're doing the correct drills and skills on the weapon system, and then obviously if they're not, then you can correct it there rather than having a casualty potentially later down the line.
With the course coming to an end, the soldiers get given a taste of what their future could be like if they carry on climbing the leadership ladder.
Enjoy the dinner night, take it for what it is, and enjoy yourself, but do not make a fool of yourself, okay? Go and get yourself a drink.
Some say it's the most exclusive club in the world. You can only get in by promoting up the ranks.
Feels good to get out of the normal working dress, everyone dressed up smart, everyone looking at each other as well, dressing quite smart as well. It's a good feeling, it's a good bit of morale as well. It does make you feel quite proud, make you feel like you've achieved something as well, especially being at the end of the course.
Warrant Officer and Sergeant's Mess.
68 started the course. For the 47 who are left, a parade is the only thing standing between them and the finish line.
You have achieved a huge amount over the last 7 weeks. We worked out that in about 47 days of training, you've had 3 days off, which is difficult by anyone's money. You've done 20 days on exercise, which is more than the vast majority of cadres. As individuals, you've each done 15 section attacks, 14 platoon attacks, 7 recces, and a whole host of other stuff.
Now the 47 who remain march on for the final time, ready to promote to Lance Corporal.
The students who passed the course today, many of them will promote within the next month or two. Others may take a bit longer.
Hold on. Like, yeah, seriously, that's a How long does it take to rank up within the British military? Even as on the enlisted side, not even the officer side, but like the enlisted. Like, how long does it take to rank up? Because that's just going from private to, so from an E1 to E2. So you go into boot camp and come out of boot camp as a private. You go into boot camp basically as there's a lot of people that come out of boot camps here, E2, E3 already. That is wild. Like, our system, I might take a look at the difference between our ranking systems and how promotions are done, because, yeah, that's, man.
But within the next 12 months, they all will be Lance Corporals, and all will then have a group of 4 riflemen, some of them brand new out of training, who will look to them as the person who leads, manages, inspires them, and gets them to the right place at the right time.
A lot of them will say the past stuff doesn't mean a lot, but it will do. Friends and family and that.
A particularly proud day for Private Aaron Todd, who was awarded top student. He's joined the cadre from the Princess of Wales's Royal Regiment.
It feels good. It's good to represent Cat Badge in a good light on this cadre. Take one day at a time. I just want to focus on being a good Lance Corporal before I move on to anything else.
Third place on the course is Rifleman Brendan Smith, who was also voted Rifleman's Rifleman by his platoon.
I wasn't expecting it at all. It caught me off guard completely, and to be recognised as being like one of the better riflemen or tigers, yeah, it's a huge amount of pride.
Bugle Major! Sound the double!
Yeah, proud. It's that's job done now, so time to go home.
I've been able to rank up today, so I'm really, really happy. As a human being, always expect to progress in life because that's what we are all living for.
Yeah, I do feel proud. Yeah, done the course, passed the course. Just want to go out and go see my family now. So yeah.
What's been the best? Probably this moment right now. Finally finished it all. Being able to go back and relax. And then the hardest would probably be sword. Sword was pretty tasty.
Loved ones have travelled far and wide to join the celebrations.
I can't believe it. I absolutely cannot believe it. So proud of him. He doesn't like it when I say that, but it's phenomenal. I can't believe how he's made it this far. Band, the atmosphere, everything. They look so smart in their uniform. Lovely. The whole ethos of the day is just something about British military tradition, isn't there, that like nothing else.
The cadre DS, particularly the corporals and the sergeants and the platoon commanders, have worked incredibly hard, so they do the same hours as the students. Admittedly, they know probably what's coming most of the time, but it's still a lot of work. They've still spent every weekend away from their family, and they did weeks, if not months, of prep.
A lot of them arrived very anxious, not believing in themselves, sort of as basic riflemen and with their basic soldiering skills. So it's been really fantastic to see that potential has been realised, and they've sort of come from zero to hero, and they are now showing the qualities of a junior NCO.
It's said the rank of Lance Corporal is the hardest to get and easiest to lose. These soldiers will wear their new rank slide with pride, joining the British Army's next generation of junior leaders. Sophie Kakianis, BFBS Forces News, Cyprus.
All right, so apparently I was in the wrong MOS in the Coast Guard. I was in the wrong rating. I was a yeoman, so I was a secretary. I didn't have anybody under me. I had a YN1 or E6 that was over me. even when I went to the land-based station at Mayport, E4, nobody up underneath me. Although I was responsible for about three smaller bases. Like it was on. It's like two. It's like three of the smaller bases I was responsible for, making figuring out people's C pay and also their travel orders, time and service, any promotions, their pay bump for being in for however long. Well, that ties into time and service. Any per diem stuff for travel, their travel orders, and all of that good stuff. Like it's like 140 people, but I didn't have anybody underneath me that I was delegating anything to. Um, I had to take and do a little bit of looking because I was like, bruh, like at E2, great God, even E3. And I'm like, that's kind of for me and from what I know from the military. Because, like, if you're in the Air Force, if you're in the Army or Marine Corps, if you're in E4, you might have, depending on the unit that you're in and stuff like that, you might be responsible for making sure that, three, four, five other people take and get things done. You all work as a group, but you're lead of that group and stuff. So that might be the case, but it like E2 to be training people to like how long does it road? That's all right. I just had to take and do a little bit of research because the fact there's people under them, which 6 to 12 can take up to, let's see, from what it said, it could take up to 12 months to take him reach Lance Corporal. Well, I say that. It said 18 months to go from private to Lance Corporal. And then it can take quite a few years to go from Lance Corporal to Corporal. And then it's like, it could take up to 12 years to go from Corporal to Sergeant. I can't even imagine how long it would take to go from Sergeant to Staff Sergeant. Like, that's... Okay, so the way y'all do the promotions, I mean, it in a way it makes sense. It really does, because the promotions are kind of given out like candy with the U.S. military. Depending on the MOS or the rating or their job classification, basically. Like for me, I graduated boot camp as an E3. Went from boot camp to my A school to pass to A school for yeoman. Went from E3 to E4 2 weeks after I took and got to my to the ship, the Coast Guard Cutter Bear. It was out in the Caribbean. Actually on the way to Jamaica. Like it was like my first week there. I took and got promotion from seaman to petty officer 3rd class, and yeah. Now it probably I probably would have had to been in for a good 2 years, probably straight sea time, and then probably would have had to do another 6 months or so, getting the experience, because getting the sea time and stuff like that, yeoman being it's glorified secretary basically. It's all paperwork based for the most. So it's yeah. There can be backlog of people who need to be, that are eligible to be promoted and have done all of the certification training to be promoted, but they don't have the sea time. A lot of the yeomans that'll take and go from A school, and if they don't take and go into the fleet, they take and go to a land base, whether it be somewhere like Jacksonville or Boston or Mobile, Alabama, or Pensacola, or however many thousands of bases that the Coast Guard has, even on the Great Lakes and stuff like that. If you're not actually in the boat getting sea time, on a ship getting sea time, it's kind of a detriment. Same thing with shopkeepers. Whereas others like bosun's mates and quartermaster, which now they've been folded into the quartermaster, but still, bosun's mates, machinist. I don't even know what they're called now. It was the ETs then. I think they've taken in ETs and EMs, which one of them took and dealt with the actual like computer systems. The other one dealt like the electrical circuitry. So those those MOSs you're a little bit more, you're able to take and rank up a little bit easier. So, and even a lot of like the military, like the army and stuff like that, a lot of them will take and come out of their training at like E3 and then 6 months to a year they make E4, and then it might take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 years to make E5 sometimes, but you're not even a non-com until you're E4 within the United States military. So very big difference. It's very interesting to take and see though, and very interesting to take and learn about, because like just the fact they're I had to take and go see what y'all's ranking system is, and there's only private, lance corporal, corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, then you get warrant officer. So you've only got 5 ranks before you hit the warrant officer. So and 4 out of the 5 are all non-coms. So that's, to me, is like the thing that was like, wow, that's crazy. It makes sense though. It makes 100% sense. And the thing about it is, if you don't pass something this so they get promoted. So if you don't pass this course, you stay in E1. You stay a private. So I wonder how many actually go from E1 to E2 within a year, or within 18 months, and how many people it takes, 2 years, 2.5 years to go from that E1 to E2 ranking, whatever their MOS is. And I'm sure MOS probably has a little bit to take and do with it as well, because just like every other military, it seems like some MOSs, it's easier to rank at the lower levels from E1 to E2, and I'm guessing probably from E2 to E3, but probably from E3 to E4 probably still takes a little bit longer, but it's just fascinating. So I'm like, okay, lance corporal, corporals, I'm figuring E4, E5 or something. Like, no E2. All right, I mean, I find it cool though, very cool. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.